Problem number 1. It says check the equation in the example problem by substituting for x one of the x values from the table. Do you get the y value shown in the table? So I take the equation y equals 35x plus 25. And instead of x, I'm going to pick any number from the x column. So I'm going to pick 2. So I'm going to do 35 times 2 plus 25. 35 times 2 is 70. 70 plus 25 is 95. If you look, 95 is the correct answer, and so yes, the y value matches. Problem number 2. What do the slope and the y-intercept mean in the context of the problem? The slope, the slope is the 35 for the 35x. And it tells us that it's $35 each hour. So the slope is the cost per hour. The y-intercept, which is 25, tells us it's a $25 service fee. So the y-intercept is the service fee. Problem number 3. Use the table to find the slope and the y-intercept of the function represented. The y-intercept is the number when we start at 0. So when we start at 0, the number is 6. So the y-intercept is 6. To find the slope, you have to write the fraction y over x, rise over run y over x. So if we look at our y, we go from 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15, 15 to 18. We're changing by 3's. If we look at the x values, they're going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're changing by 1's. The slope is 3. Problem number 4. What are the slope and the y-intercept of the equation? Well, our general equation is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and so m goes with x. In our equation, 0.5 goes with x, so the slope is 0.5. The y-intercept is b, and in our equation, 3 is the y-intercept. 3 is b. So 3 is the y-intercept. Problem number 5. Write an equation for the table of values. Explain how you got your answer. So, we need to find the slope, and we need to find the y-intercept. So, the y-intercept is what we start at 0. So at 0, we're starting at 1. To find the slope, you write your equation, rise over run, y over x. And so you look at what we're changing by. To go from 1 to 5, we go up 4. 5 to 9 is 4. 13 and 17, you're going up 4. So our y is 4. The x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're going up by 1s. So our slope is 4. So now I can write my equation. Our equations always start with y equals. Next comes the slope, so 4x, and then plus 1. It has to be in the form y equals mx plus b. M being the slope, and b being the y-intercept. Problem number 6. An amusement park charges $8 for admission and $2 for each ride. Use the graph to find the slope and the y-intercept. Then write an equation for the function that relates the total cost for the number of rides. So our equation is going to be y equals. We need to find the slope and the y-intercept. If you look at the graph, when we're at 0, we are starting at 8. So our y-intercept is 8. If you look at the problem, it says it's $2 for each ride, $2 per ride, so our slope is 2. Our equation is then y equals 2x, because it has to be mx form, and m is the slope, plus 8, because 8 is the y-intercept, so it would be the plus b. Problem number 7. Write an equation for the table of values. Explain how you got your answer. So, we need to find the slope, and the y-intercept. So, looking at our chart, we have to write the equation y over x. And so, to go from 4 to 10, we are going up 6. If we go from 10 to 11, we're going up 1.5. 11 to 19, we are going up 7.5. And to go from 19 to 22, we're going up 3. So, for our x values, 1 to 3 is 2, 2 to 3.5 is 0.5, 3.5 to 6 is 2.5, and 6 to 7 is 1. So I'm going to take one set of numbers. I'm going to take 2 and 6. That is going to be my fraction, 6 over 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That tells me that the slope is 3. To find the y-intercept, we need to start with a clean graph, so I'm going to erase our slope notes. So, when we look at our graph, or our chart, we always need to start at 0. So, to do that, we have to go back 1. If I go back 1, I really have to go back 3 for my slope. So 4 minus 3 is 1. My y-intercept is 1. So my equation, y equals 3x, the slope and the variable always go together, plus 1.